Good evening. I'd like to call the City of Twinsburg regular council meeting of April 27th, 2021 to order. The time is 7:30. We are at the Twinsburg Government Center, council chambers. The meeting is being held with council and public in person while following the current COVID-19 guidelines. The meeting is also being live streamed on the city's YouTube channel. Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Here.
Mr. Scafidi? Mrs. Stauffer?
Here.
Mr. Bellin?
Here.
Mr. Fury?
Here.
Mrs. Walker?
Present.
Mr. Barr?
Here.
At this time, Mr. Fury will lead us in the invocation and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to encourage and engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of the community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions that affect all of our residents and all the business and our dedicated city employees. Bless those away from us, serving to protect our country. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes of the regular council meeting of April 13th, 2021?
Yes. Make a motion that we accept the minutes as submitted.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
I'll yield. Shannon, please call the roll.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stauffer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes. Approval of the minutes passes 6-0. Do we have any awards or presentations this evening?
There are none.
Do we have any audience participation?
Yes, we have Bruce Baldwin.
Thank you. I just want to put out a reminder that council rules allow for 5 minutes per person. Thank you.
Good evening, Council. Bruce R. Baldwin, 3310 Cannon Road, Twinsburg. Good evening.
Good evening.
I would like an answer after asking this question before. What is being done with a property between McDonald and Church Street on Route 82? I believe 2 tax-paying houses were torn down using city-paid workers and city equipment to do the job. Anybody? Tell me how long it was. I think this is a tax-paid project, but a CIC, correct? I also see city workers putting down straw on property. Weeds grow for nothing. Also, property will have to be maintained, taxpayers. Again, I also believe this is the 3rd or 4th time I've mentioned the terrible traffic on Route 91 south of 480. No right turn lanes to 480 towards 82. This is without a doubt has wasted 100 upon 100 gallons of gas. I have seen traffic backed up past 82 heading south because of this. How much pollution has this caused our city? On Route 91 at 480 going towards Streetsboro, a right turn lane, watch the traffic move. Don't take my word for it. Do what I did. Go watch it. It works. 91 South has been a problem since it opened to 480. As I said before, hundreds upon hundreds of gallons of gas wasted, and I said the pollution to our city, what a shame. Thank you, Council. Good evening. Be safe, take care, and take care of yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Baldwin.
Okay, moving on to council communication and committee reports. Mrs. Stauffer.
Okay, so let's see, on April 15th, I attended the ARB meeting in council chambers. At that time, I swore in the new member, you swore in the new member. And there were 3 cases on the agenda. One was 1820 Sunview Drive. It was an addition, a revision to an addition, and it was approved as noted. They recommended a window. Case number 210440, it was 9276 Wallingford Drive, a gazebo by Mark and Renetta Knaus. Their homeowners, it was also approved as noted. It was just a location to confirm something. And then the final case was 210441, 9280 Dutton Drive, integral ground signs by Alex Heffernan, and that was approved as well, as noted. I attended the Special Committee for Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion meeting on Justice and Police Relations, the subcommittee, on Monday, April 26th. We began reviewing policy, the use of force, and then I had to leave a little bit early so that I could attend the next meeting, comprehensive plan meeting. So that's really, we just sort of started going over the procedures, did not get to the second part of it. So I think who was there? Nobody else nobody else was there except Mr. Maestros. So you can finish up on that. And that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you, Mrs. Stoffer. Mr. Fury.
Thank you. On April 21st, I had the opportunity to attend the school board meeting with the mayor and Dr. Walker to speak on behalf of issue 2 as well as our support for issue 6. April 26th, comprehensive plan meeting. Tonight I attended the finance meeting. Tomorrow we have a treasury investment board meeting. We have the CIC meeting at City Hall at 6 p.m. And we are also just got notice that we will have this, the police department is sponsoring a Metropolitan scholarship golf outing again. It was postponed last year due to COVID, but you know, this raises money for the Josh Metropolitan Fund to give scholarships to high school kids who are going into law enforcement careers. If you're interested in playing, the date is July 16th. It's a shotgun start. I believe it check-ins at 8. If you'd like more information, Brian Donato at BDONATO at Twinsburg.oh.us. Call the police department. He'll get you the information. Non-emergency number, please. And that's all I have right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Mr. Bellin.
Thank you. Good evening. On Thursday, April 22nd, I attended the Mayor's State of the City address. I'd like to commend Mayor Yates on your presentation, sir. I appreciate the detailed information that you put out there. If you did not attend that event, you can watch it on the city's YouTube channel. I attended this evening's Finance Committee meeting. I will defer to Mr. Barr for that report. The JEDI Community Outreach Subcommittee was scheduled to meet on Monday, April 19th. That meeting was canceled. That subcommittee meeting will be rescheduled. The next meeting of the full JEDI Committee will be on Monday, May 10th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., where HR Director Michael Brown will be walking us through the city's diversity training. I'm very much looking forward to that. The next Board of Zoning Appeals meeting was scheduled for tomorrow, Wednesday, April 28th. There actually are no cases on the agenda, so that meeting will be canceled. The May meeting is tentatively scheduled for Wednesday, May 26th at 6:30 p.m. I have nothing further this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Walker.
Good evening, everyone. I attended the Mayor's State of the City address on Thursday, April 22nd at Aaron and Moses. The Mayor reviewed the important events issued of the past year and how we are preparing for the future. Great job, Mayor Yates. Also, I attended the on April 22nd at 6:30 the Parks and Rec. I'm on the Parks and Rec Committee. And we went over several things regarding what we're going to do this year. And I just want to mention to Shannon, by the way, and I don't want to put you on the spot, that we didn't get a chance to swear in 2 people. Okay. And if you could just put that on the list, so, or else if you could call them in and I could swear them whenever they come in to City Hall, whatever you need to do. And it was great. Jen was there, and she's over Parks and Rec, and she gave a lot of great ideas that we're going to be instituting shortly regarding Parks and Rec, you know, the concerts and things of that nature. And also, I just want to thank Shannon for giving me a copy of the Ordinance of the Parks and Rec, and they've been around since July 1969. They're probably the oldest committee that we have on record. So just to let you know that they're over 50 years old and they're still running very strong. I did attend the comprehension meeting, which was yesterday. Lynn and Larry Finch, they did such a tremendous job. And the purpose of the meeting, they provided an overview, committee members, and a discussion of what sustainability means. And it's really funny because we think about sustainability, as our own interpretation of it, but their meaning was meeting the needs of the present without compromising the future. And I think that just sets it just right. The meeting was great. I think Mr. Fury was there, and Mrs. Stauffer came in later on. So we just had a great time, and it was one of those meetings that you just didn't want it to end because we could add so much value to it. Thank you, and that's all I have.
I'm on the Finance Committee, but I'm going to defer to Mr. Barr to report on that, and none of my other meetings have met. And now for Mr. Barr.
Good evening, thank you. I'm going to start with the Planning Commission meeting from April 19th, 2021. There were several items on the agenda. There was a public hearing for a conditional use permit for a personal training studio, 2874 Alling Drive. There was no public in attendance for that public hearing. After the public hearing, the Planning Commission voted on the conditional use permit. And again, this is for a home business, for a personal training studio, physical therapy, or one-on-one personal weight training and things like that, for a home on 2874 Alling Drive. It was approved by Planning Commission unanimously, 5-0, pending approval from the Ethans Commons Homeowners Association, which I believe the Planning Department did receive. Next item on the agenda was a revised final site plan for an expanded parking area at 1960 Midway Drive. They want to add 13 additional parking spaces, and that was also approved 5-0. There was a lot split and consolidation for several properties on Chamberlain Road, notably 9759 and 9789 Chamberlain. That was also approved 5-0. Finally, there was a revised site plan for a fairly large spec building at Cornerstone Business Park. This would actually sort of be the property at 82 and Chamberlain there. And Matt Weber from Skinnell Properties was here to discuss that. That property is permanent parcel number 64-00380. Planning asked for the elimination of a right-in, right-out curb cut on the south side of 82, and there was a 2-foot variance for a fence. That was approved 5-0 as noted. So with the elimination of those curb cuts and a few other things, Mr. Weber's going to discuss that with the clients and go from there. The next Planning Commission meeting is scheduled for May 17th, 2021 at 7 p.m. in Council Chambers. Mr. Scafidi could not be with us tonight. He is the chair of the Finance Committee and did ask me to stand in his place. We had some excellent discussions, specifically about some City Hall technology options. One of the things that we've been discussing is possibly some permanent additions to City Hall exterior lighting. One of the things that should be noted is that we typically have rented lights for our annual holiday lighting program to the tune of $10,000 to $15,000 a year. I know this is something that Mr. Fury has worked on for the past several years in terms of trying to get us to make an investment actually in our physical space here to eliminate that. We have some quotes roughly in the mid $30,000 range. And so I guess the argument here is in 3 years we could essentially pay for something that has a 7, possibly 10-year life expectancy. So after the third year we'd be money ahead. Our finance director also talked about our annual debt service, and it's important to note, as all roads lead back to the clubhouse, that starting in 2022, our debt service will be basically consistent with what it was prior to the clubhouse, and in 2023 it'll actually be lower. than years past. So that should be encouraging news for all of our naysayers out there. We discussed the American Rescue Plan Act, some of the things that'll be going for. Basically, water, sewer, broadband infrastructure are the key takeaways there. Hazard pay for essential workers. Then there's some economic assistance and recovery components there. The Finance Department is still looking to get final guidance on some of those type of things. Again, it's important to note that this money can't be used to delay a tax increase or anything like that.
Can't buy fire trucks.
Can't buy a fire truck as best as I understand. Is that correct, Ms. Butchie-Gross?
A fire truck does not fit into one of the 4 categories.
I didn't think it did. I was just looking for clarification. I appreciate
We
that.
are waiting guidance.
Sarah was kind enough to summarize our CARES Act money that received from the county and state, $1.62 million and change, the bulk of which, $1.18, went to cover wage funding for police, fire, and dispatch wage and pension costs. And it should be important to note that there were no public safety layoffs at all as a result of COVID-19. That was something that this legislative body, the administration, was committed to. And thanks to some of that CARES Act money, we were able to maintain our current levels of staffing with police, fire, and dispatch. There is some legislation currently at the state house level that is going to impact how income taxes are distributed with all of the folks working from home. And unfortunately for Twinsburg, for every 10% of workers who remain working from home, our city's withholding tax collections will be reduced by about 3%, to the tune of about $688,000 and change. Again, those are just estimates at this time. Those do come from RETA. And it's important to note that this is all in flux. It is subject to change. It has not yet been voted on. It is not a law. But it is something that we all need to be aware of. The workplace has changed as a result of COVID, and the tax laws are going to change with it. So we are pretty heavily dependent on income tax revenues, and this could have a negative impact on our bottom line and financial health. Finally, I believe Ms. Butchie-Gross shared that we're down about 8.6% year to date in income tax receipts. Which I guess is not to be unexpected given the current financial situation and the COVID-19 crisis. The next meeting of Finance Committee will be May 25th at 6 p.m. here in Council Chambers. That concludes my committee reports. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to legislation and ordinance 21.
Mayor's report.
Oh, the mayor's report, sorry.
You don't get one.
We did that Thursday morning.
That's right.
She was on a roll. I get
She
it.
was.
Good evening, everyone. A couple of things going on in town. So if you've been watching your social media a little bit, we're starting to announce all of our concerts for Rock the Park. Real excited about that coming back. I know a lot of the residents are too, and even a lot of people out of town that use that venue on Friday night. So we're just real excited. We have a great lineup this year. Pops Works is coming back, and a lot of really talented bands coming in from different cities around the country. Camp is going on registration. We're excited to bring it back. It was one of our goals for this year, is to bring camp back. We're still trying to figure out what the restrictions are going to be, but we're going to have camp this year, and I know a lot of parents are relieved to know that camp's going to be in place. Pool passes are currently on sale. So again, we had a really restricted year last year with reservations and a lot of things, and it was actually kind of sad when you went there because it's just, I'm so used to just kids running around crazy everywhere, and we didn't have that last year. Hopefully we have that again this year, so we're hoping to have a more normal pool season. So a lot of those things are starting to get ramped up as we go into the month of May. Pool will be opening, and then of course the concerts will start really quickly in June. One thing I want to announce, we have a really good Explorers program here in the city, and these Explorers are high school kids that have desire to enter either into our police force or our fire department. And they do training, and we've got great instructors and leaders both in the fire department and our police department. And there was a recent competition where our police explorers placed like second in like 3 different divisions against explorers all over Northeast Ohio. And then we have 2 explorers at CVCC that are at the top of their class in the fire department. So I just want to recognize them. You know, we're really looking at these young kids to groom them hopefully into someone that can be future members of both of those departments. Something we've been working on ever since the passing of former Mayor Karabeck, working with the family regarding a memorial for Mr. Karabeck. And we've picked a place up at Liberty Park and designed it. We have a beautiful little garden set up with some historic Hudak stones. And Mr. Murgliata, who was a close friend and longtime resident and just, you know, I guess person in Twinsburg that has just really contributed a lot to the community, actually paid for the bronze plaque that's going to go on there. And so we do have a date of June 12th, 9:30 in the morning. It's a Saturday, that we'll be doing the dedication for the Karabeck Memorial. And I just wanted to get that out so that residents can kind of save that date. It'll be right in the middle of a full day of baseball, and so we're excited that we're going to have, you know, really when he started envisioning what that land might look like, I'm sure he envisioned a bunch of kids playing baseball, having fun, and so we're going to stop baseball for a minute and, you know, do that dedication with his family, who are all coming into town from Florida. So it should be a really wonderful morning. So please mark your calendars for that. And then I did do my State of the City. Thank you for the compliments. It was a very difficult one to prepare this year because 2020 was a very different year than what we're used to experiencing, and a very difficult year for a lot of us here at the city, both administration, employees, council, residents. So, you know, I tried to shed a little bit of light on some of the things that happened here behind the scenes, and then really just kind of looking forward to hopefully getting us back to normal and what we're going to be doing in 2021. You know, some of the things that Mr. Barr touched on, we're just, you know, we're really going to be, you know, we're going to be watching, especially House Bill 157, as, you know, we have the potential of losing, you know, for an extended period of time, income tax revenue if that, you know, passes and has the impact we think it's going to have. As he mentioned, we are $700,000 down this year currently, and so, you know, as we really lost a lot of income back in the 2014 to 15 years, we've been slowly inching back up. However, we've now taken a dip in 2020, and we'll probably see another one in 2021. So, you know, I think, you know, for us as we work toward next week and issue 2, this is really just something crucial for the city, and I hope the residents have done their homework and, you know, have asked all their questions. But if you have any questions regarding issue 2, please contact me or contact your council person or even Ms. Bucci-Grass and ask those questions, because I know there's still a lot of incorrect information being spread about, you know, in the general public about the city, about its finances, about, you know, some of the COVID money we received, you know, about where this money is going to go if this levy passes. But this is something that still puts us in the bottom probably 5 of Summit County in terms of property tax helping fund our police and fire departments. And so it's just really important for those departments and for the city as a whole, because it has an effect on the whole city, not just those departments. But again, any questions, please contact us. And I think that's about it. Oh, something that kind of came across my desk today that I'm working toward is doing a e-recycling day here in Twinsburg. There's a company that will come in and do it. And so we're going to take a look at that and maybe do it fairly quickly, maybe toward the end of May, but I'll get more information to council and, of course, Environmental Commission, because they've always been very involved in a lot of those days, but it's something that we hope to have here in the city. It was very popular in Hudson, and so they're trying to come to these other communities to offer it. All right, and that's the end of my report. Thank you. And Ms. Bucci-Grass wants to give a brief report. It's the only department head we have here this evening. And so next month, we will have department heads coming back. So just to let you guys know and let the public know that
Michael's here.
Michael's here for a different reason. I don't think he was planning on reporting tonight. So, all right.
Thank you.
Thank you, council. Thank you, Mr. Barr, for reporting on the income tax collections. We do have the March financials out there. We will have the finance committee posted for anybody who'd like to view that online probably later this week. We are still working on the electronic sewer billing option. We're hoping to have roll that out probably slowly this summer and a little bit more aggressively in the fall. And then over on the information technology side, we're doing a citywide review of our access control, fire and burglar alarms and video systems. We're working with the police department on their new drone, and I believe they've already put it into use in a situation that I'm not sure I'm allowed to talk about. And then we're also doing the leads audit over there.
Thank you very much. Now we're moving on to legislation and ordinance 21, 2021.
Are we passing over this evening?
We are.
Yes.
Do we have to read it and discuss it?
No.
We
We're
just-
passing it over, so we would not read it. We would
Okay.
just pass over it, we would address it at a future date.
All right. I didn't know if we had to say something so people would know.
You
All
want
right. Good. All right. Resolution 35, 2021.
A resolution allowing the mayor to apply for federal surface transportation block grant funds programmed by the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study to improve Cannon Road and declaring an emergency.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 35, 2021 as an emergency. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mrs. Stoffer seconds. This is to apply for funding and is not guaranteed. If the funds are approved, it would be an 80-20 split, with the city's portion being $135,000. Is there any further discussion?
This is for a section of Ravenna Road, to basically actually Canning Road from Ravenna Road up to Liberty Road. So as everyone's driven down that hill, they know what it feels like, and we really need that done. So hopefully this gets approved and it's a project we can move forward with.
Thank you. Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 35, 2021 passes as an emergency 6-0. Resolution 36, 2021.
A resolution allowing the mayor to apply for federal surface transportation block grant funds programmed by the Akron Metropolitan Area Transportation Study to improve Highland Road and declaring an emergency.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 36, 2021 as an emergency. May I have a second? Mrs. Walker seconds. This is to apply for funding. It's not guaranteed. If the funds are approved, it would be an 80-20 split, with the city's portion being $135,000. Is there any discussion?
Again, this is another section of road on Highland Road from Route 91 up to Hayden. So we'd like to, if we can get this, move forward with that resurfacing.
Any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, Resolution 36, 2021 passes as an emergency 6-0. Resolution 37, 2021.
A resolution authorizing a conditional use permit for Dr. Larry J. Miller for parcel number 6406896 located at 2874 Alling Drive, Twinsburg, Ohio, as recommended by the Planning Commission.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 37, 2021. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Barr seconds. This resolution is for a conditional use permit for Dr. Larry J. Miller for a personal training studio in a R4 residential district. The Planning Commission held a public hearing and meeting on April 19th and approved the request 5-0, with the condition that an approval letter from the HOA be submitted. Is there any discussion? Okay, Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Resolution 37, 2021 passes 6-0. Resolution 38, 2021.
A resolution acknowledging council's receipt and review of the monthly financial statements submitted by the Finance Department for January, February, and March 2021.
I make a motion to adopt Resolution 38, 2021. May I have a second?
Second?
Mr. Barr seconds. This resolution is the quarterly approval of the financial statements. Is there any further discussion? Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker? Yes. Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Resolution 38, 2021 passes 6-0. Moving on to unfinished business, new business, and miscellaneous. Mr. Barr.
Well, this is our last meeting before the May 4th election coming up. And I'd be biased if I said police and fire weren't near and dear to my heart. I spent a decade of my life serving the community in what is oftentimes a thankless job. These guys deserve the support of the community, the men and women. My apologies. These men and women deserve the support of our community. They are everyday heroes, and I guess all I could do is just emphatically ask everybody to really consider taking care of our men and women in the police service and the fire department. This allows for us to actually start building a capital reserve for these folks that's going to take care of aging equipment, and it allows us to take care of their pension obligations so that those don't drain the general fund. So I would ask for your support on issue 2 this May. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Bellin.
Yeah, I would just like to echo what Mr. Barr said. The city of Twinsburg, I've received a ton of questions about issue 2. And I would like to thank those residents that reached out to me. And I know that they've reached out to other members of council and the mayor and Mrs. Buccigross and Mr. Maestros. There still is a lot of confusion around this particular issue. The city of Twinsburg has never had a dedicated fund for police and fire capital. In my opinion, it should have been done years ago, and it wasn't. And that's, it is what it is. I can't go back. I can only deal with what's in front of us today. Mr. Barr mentioned the city of Twinsburg has been paying for police and fire pensions out of the city's general fund to the tune of $1 million a year for the past, I don't know how many years. This is because there was never legislative action to fix, in my opinion, that oversight. Again, should have been done, but wasn't. We need to move forward. A yes vote on issue 2 allows us to begin fixing, in my opinion, those oversights, and it allows us to move forward. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mrs. Stuffer.
So I want the residents to understand that in all the years we've been here, I haven't asked for support on a lot of things, and in this case, we do need to support our police and fire. We need to support this pension. So I am asking for support of issue 2, and we just keep in mind, we're only as strong as our police and fire in our schools. So I think we really need to back them on this. And that's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Fury.
Good evening. This Thursday, April 29th, the Eaton Street Homeowners Association is having their annual meeting, which is the first meeting in 2 years. A public meeting, actually in-person meeting at the clubhouse. So that's 7 o'clock. If you're a resident, you would have gotten a letter maybe a month ago, but just remind you that it's there. The city has reduced our workforce overall by 10%. We're running our second performance audit in the last 18 years. The last one came back with very minimal recommendations on efficiencies, unlike the first one. What that says is a third party has verified that yes, we are running lean and efficient city processes compared to our neighbors. The money that would go from issue 2 goes specifically to police, fire, pensions, and capital. When we look at the residents, almost over 1,000 residents replied. Almost 70% said this is the route to take, is to pass income tax, property tax to benefit these funds. And so we're doing what you've asked. You know, there was a group that wanted us to vote, but if we gave them the right to vote, they were going to take this to the streets and back it and help us pass. So we need those people to hold to their word and support issue 2 for the city of Twinsburg, as well as issue 6 for the school system, which is a renewal without additional revenues or taxes levied. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Fury. Mrs. Walker.
Thank you. I totally agree with my counselors up here that issue 2 is very important. Vote yes. Issue 6 very important. Vote yes on that. And when you have a great school system, and when you have a great police and fire department, the people that you draw into the city of Twinsburg will be great people, because those are the first 2 things that they look at before even buying a house. How's the school system? How's the police and fire? And so I support, we all support. And thank you to whoever is listening to support these 2 issues. But I do want to say something about a former council person. He gave me a call about 2 weeks ago. He doesn't live in the city of Twinsburg, but he wanted to clean up 480 by Cracker Barrel. So after talking to a few of my cohorts up here, and we all came into an agreement. If he wants to clean, let him do it. And so he came out this past Saturday, needed a vest, so I met him at the fire department, got vests for him, and he cleaned up, and he did a great job. He had 2 bags, took it over to the service department, and I think it's great. He was counsel for 20 years. He lives in the city of Akron, and he comes all the way to Twinsburg, Ohio, because he have a love for the city to pick up our garbage. I think if I was the mayor, I would be so happy. Being on council, I'm so happy, you know, that he's willing to give back. And I think it's so wonderful that we have people like that. And I hope one of these days, I don't ever want to move Twinsburg, but if I do, I'm coming back from the Environmental Commission and we're going to clean. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Mayor Yates.
Thank you. Yeah, I think Mr. Hahn misses Twinsburg terribly. So
He does.
He does. I just want to thank the school board and thank Ms. Walker and Mr. Fury for joining me. School board meeting last week. They passed a resolution formally endorsing issue 2 to us, the same way we did it for issue 6. And almost every board member spoke regarding that support and how important and the police and fire department are to them personally, as well as to the school district, and really emphasize the fact that strong city, strong schools is really what makes a community thrive. Everything else revolves around that. If you have those 2 things, then everything else kind of comes to place. So I just want to thank them for their hospitality for us that evening and passing that resolution, and look forward to hopefully both of these issues passing next week. That's all I have. Thank you.
Mr. Maestros.
Thank you. We had a resident, Mr. Baldwin, asked a question, and I'm not sure if anybody wants to answer that question. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. I think you just.
I'll go for it.
Okay.
So, Mr. Baldwin, the CIC didn't purchase those 2 lots. There was a landowner who was looking at having additional commercial businesses there, and that is an intersection that at some point we want to put a through street to. So we didn't want to have a paint shop or a tire shop at the end of the stub street. We were very, again, the city gets pennies on the dollar for property tax. There was not a lot of tax being collected there. But we are having, the CIC is subsidizing any work that the city is doing with the grass, and that's it. We want to control that area so that we have a say in what goes through there, especially gives us the opportunity to further develop it in a manner which the city wants to. Again, we don't want to have our Route 82 look like Macedonia. We'd have tire shop, fast food restaurant, tire shop, just in and out traffic. We would try to do something a little different there. So the monies from the CIC did purchase that land, and we were paying to maintain it. Does that sound like a reasonable answer to you?
I think that's all he was looking for. Thanks.
All right.
If anybody forgot about it. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. Fury.
I would just also add that I'm very supportive of issue 2 and 6, and we appreciate everyone coming out to vote on May 4th. May 4th.
May 4th.
Okay, I make a motion to excuse Mr. Scafidi. May I have a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Bellin seconds. Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to enter into an executive session to discuss matters pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 121-22G1 personnel. May I have a second?
A second.
Mr. Fury seconds. Sure. Shannon, please call the roll.
Ms. McFerrin?
Yes.
Mr. Fury?
Yes.
Mrs. Walker?
Yes.
Mrs. Stoffer?
Yes.
Mr. Bellin?
Yes.
Mr. Barr?
Yes.
Okay, motion passes 6-0. Our meeting is adjourned at 8:12.